One storm system, two completely different weather disasters unfolding at the same time. That is exactly what is happening right now across the United States. And if you live anywhere from North Texas to the Tennessee Valley or from the Denver Metro up through Wyoming, the next 48 hours are going to demand your full attention. A multi-day severe weather threat is ramping up across the southern plains and Dixie Alley. Tornadoes are a real concern today, and at the same time, the Rocky Mountains are getting buried in what could be one of the most significant May snowstorms in recent memory. So let's get right into it, starting with the most immediate danger. Right now on Tuesday, the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather in place, level 2 out of 5, stretching from northeastern Texas and Oklahoma City northeastward through Tulsa, Little Rock, and up toward Memphis. A broader marginal risk fans out around that core zone, pulling in Springfield, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, Shreveport, Louisiana, and Houston into the general storm threat area. There is also a separate marginal risk for severe weather across northern New England today, where all hazard types will be possible, though the threat up there should remain lower end compared to the Mid-South. Damaging wind gusts in the 50 to 70 miles per hour range are a primary concern for both regions. But what really stands out today is the hail and tornado potential across central Arkansas and northeast Texas. We are talking about baseball-sized hail or even larger coming out of discrete supercell thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening hours. What storm chasers call gorilla hail. If you have a vehicle sitting outside near Little Rock, Jonesboro, or in the northeast Texas corridor, now is the time to get it protected. So why is this happening? The setup is being driven by a potent upper-level trough pivoting eastward across the plains and into the mid-Mississippi Valley. At the surface, a cold front is oriented from the Ohio Valley down through southern Arkansas and into central Texas, and a well-defined dry line has been in place across the southern plains overnight. Rich Gulf moisture is streaming northward into the warm sector ahead of that front, with surface dew points approaching 70 degrees across Louisiana and southern Arkansas. That moisture feed, combined with strong deep-layer wind shear and a low-level jet developing this evening, creates the environment that supercells thrive in. The real wild card today is storm mode. If individual storms can stay discrete, meaning they do not get absorbed into a larger cluster too quickly, the hail and tornado threat goes up significantly. That is the biggest question mark hanging over this forecast. Today's peak timing window for severe weather across the Mid-South is roughly 5 kW in the evening through 10 kW tonight. Early morning convection across the Mississippi River Valley is actually working in your favor right now by stabilizing the atmosphere a bit across Arkansas. But here is the thing, the atmosphere rebounds fast with this setup. Once that morning activity clears, instability rebuilds quickly. Model data shows a supercell potentially firing in northern Arkansas around 4 to 5 kW, with storms becoming more widespread and organized by 6 kW to 7 kW. The warm frontal zone is going to be a critical focus area today. That boundary is expected to set up somewhere near Mountain View and Jonesboro and west of Memphis. Any supercell that develops along or near that warm front carries an elevated risk of producing a strong tornado. I would not be surprised at all to see a significant tornado warning issued this evening if storms can get organized before they start to cluster up. Further south toward Dallas-Fort Worth, the cap is keeping a lid on things through most of the afternoon. But as we head into the evening hours near and after sunset, that cap breaks, and isolated supercells become possible near the Metroplex. Tornado parameter values near Dallas-Fort Worth peak around 3 out of 10, which is elevated, and a strong tornado cannot be ruled out there. As we push past 10 o'clock tonight, storms in Arkansas will congeal into an organized cluster pushing toward the Mississippi River. The tornado threat decreases at that point while damaging wind potential increases. Overnight, clusters push toward Tupelo and Clarksdale with an isolated wind threat and a lingering low-end tornado risk. Up in the northeast, expect primarily clustered thunderstorms with isolated gusts up to 65 miles per hour and maybe a brief weak tornado. lower-end threat compared to what is happening further south. Wednesday is the day I am really watching closely across the Dixie Alley. The Storm Prediction Center currently has a slight risk from central Texas into Alabama and Georgia, but I think an upgrade to enhanced risk is possible for portions of Mississippi and Louisiana by tomorrow morning. The Jackson, Mississippi area and the Shreveport corridor along Interstate 20 are the zones I am most focused on. Damaging winds and very large hail will be primary threats, but there is a legitimate tornado threat that deserves real attention tomorrow. Storm mode is going to be the deciding factor once again. If storms in central and southern Mississippi can stay discreet through the afternoon and evening, tornado parameter values suggest a couple of strong tornadoes are possible. Values peak near 5 out of 10 tomorrow afternoon in that zone, meaningfully higher than today. The severe weather window tomorrow is also longer, potentially stretching from 3 Bakr or 4 Sowan in the afternoon all the way through 11 Dakar or midnight. Supercells near northern Arkansas and the Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia borders could be active by mid-afternoon, with the main action south of Shreveport and near Jackson ramping up between 5 and 7 in the evening. If you live from central Louisiana eastward through southern Mississippi, treat Wednesday as seriously as today. Have multiple ways to receive warnings, know your safe place, and stay plugged into the forecast throughout the day. Thursday brings some relief on the tornado front, but the storm system will still be producing scattered severe weather across the Deep South. The main hazards shift toward damaging winds and large hail, with a low but non-zero isolated tornado threat from Lake Charles, Louisiana, eastward toward the Valdosta, Georgia area. This is the trailing edge of the system as it pushes east. Now, I want to talk about the other extraordinary story happening simultaneously, because it is remarkable that these two weather events are part of the same storm. While severe weather erupts across the south, the Rocky Mountains are getting hammered with what could be the biggest snowstorm of the 2025 to 2026 season for the Denver area and one of the most significant May snowstorms on record. A winter storm warning is in effect for the northern Colorado mountains, including Rocky Mountain National Park, and the northern Front Range foothills, covering Estes Park, Nederland, and Red Feather Lakes. Total accumulations of 10 to 24 inches are expected above 8,000 feet elevation, with the storm peak running from Tuesday morning through Tuesday night. Denver and the northern Front Range, including Fort Collins, Boulder, and Castle Rock, are under a winter storm watch from Tuesday evening through Wednesday afternoon, with 3 to 9 inches possible. This is coming after a historically snow-starved winter. Denver had received only about 57% of its seasonal snowfall average, and the mountains fared even worse, with some resorts running below 30% of normal. So while this storm is going to cause serious travel headaches, it is genuinely welcomed moisture for a region in extreme drought. Expect slushy and snow-covered roads from Tuesday night through midday Wednesday across the metro, and if you are flying through Denver International Airport, build in extra time and expect possible delays or cancellations Tuesday evening through Wednesday morning. There is one more remarkable footnote here. Light snow could reach as far east as western Kansas and eastern Colorado by Wednesday night, and the Texas Panhandle area just north of Amarillo could even see rare snow flurries going into Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. May snow in the Panhandle. Incredible. Looking briefly at the weekend, confidence in severe weather details is still pretty low. There is an isolated risk Friday along the Gulf Coast from Texas into Florida, mainly wind and hail. Saturday brings a new storm system trying to organize over the Central Plains, and the American and European models are not agreeing well on how organized it gets. Best current bet is an isolated to scattered threat from central Iowa back through Dallas-Fort Worth. Sunday, that system tracks into the Ohio Valley with possible additional severe weather from the Dixie Alley into the northeast, though once again, I would not put a lot of confidence in those specifics yet. Here is the bottom line. The next 2 days are serious across the Mid-South and Dixie Alley. Tornadoes, very large hail, and damaging winds are all in play today from northeast Texas through Arkansas and into the Memphis area. and again tomorrow across southern Mississippi and Louisiana. Make sure your weather apps have notifications turned on and you know exactly where to take shelter if a warning is issued. And make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated throughout this event. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video.